So today we are reading from Gita Live Gita chapter 2. Hopefully we'll conclude chapter 2 today. With that, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Punamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We have been reading about Krishna, how Krishna is the original infinity, and today we are going to read. We had read this, Athava Bahunaitena, Kim Jnatena Tavajuna, Vishtabhyaham Idam Krishnam Ekam Shena Sthito Jagad. Krishna is effortlessly maintaining all the universes. Okay. Now, this is there. Upon being requested by Arjuna, Lord Krishna showed his universal form, the way he pervades this entire creation. We'll just cite two verses that are sufficient to recognize that the inconceivable nature of Lord Krishna. These are verses 11.12 and 16. 11th chapter, 12th and 16th verses. First is, if hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Personality in that universal form. And the next one is, O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths and eyes, expanded everywhere, without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. It's what Arjuna is saying, that how Krishna is just unlimited. These are examples of infinity, how Krishna is infinity. We know from the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita as well. It is very clear that infinity has no end and no beginning. Infinity must be beyond mathematical constructs like openness or closedness. Open or closed, bounded or unbounded. For example, a house is a finite object, hence we can define the inside and outside of the house. But for infinity, there cannot be any inside or outside, as we can see in the following incident described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So now Sir is explaining the meaning of this verse, that how this verse is saying that infinity has no middle and no beginning and no end. No beginning, no middle, no end. Means it is everywhere. Infinity is everywhere. So that's what Sir is giving an example. What is the difference between finite and infinite? So we have been reading so many differences between infinity and not infinity, right? So maybe at the end we will enumerate all the differences between finite and infinite. This is another difference, that infinity has no end, no beginning, no middle. So Sir is giving an example. It's like a house. House is a finite object, right? There is a beginning and there is an end. Means in time as well as space. In space, how it has a beginning? Maybe I will ask questions. A house, where is the beginning of a house? Where is the beginning of the house? Hare Krishna. Anybody would like to answer? where is the beginning of a house and where is the end of the house? Foundations are the beginning. Yes. And where is the end? Where is the end? Roof. Okay, very good. Very good. So this is in space. In space, foundation is the beginning from downwards, and when you reach the top, the roof, that is the end. And beyond that, you won't call that a house. You will say open sky, or you will say something else. And similarly, if in this along the horizontal direction, the beginning may be the door and the end is the backyard. Beyond that, nothing. Or the boundary wall, it has a boundary wall which is delimiting house from the non-house. And then in time also it has a beginning. So as you said, foundation. So when the foundation was laid, there was the beginning of the house. And when finally after many years, the house is no longer useful, when it is dilapidated, broken, then they will demolish it. That will be the end. Right? So therefore, it has a beginning, it has an end. That is the definition of finite. A finite has a beginning and an end. Infinity has no beginning, no end. And now, Vedanta gives an example about Krishna, that how Krishna has no beginning and no end. So maybe I can ask you, can you tell some leelas of Krishna where Krishna has where Krishna shows that he has no beginning and no end? Showing Arjuna Vishnu. Yes, very good. Just now we discussed the example that how in the 11th chapter Arjuna is saying that I do not see a beginning, a middle and an end. So definitely this is one very good Leela of Krishna where he shows that he has no beginning, no middle, no end. Brahmanda Darshan of Krishna to Yashoda Maya. So when Mother Yashoda got the news that Krishna is eating mud, she immediately rushed towards that place where Krishna was playing, immediately caught hold of Krishna and asked him, why did you eat mud? Krishna said, no, I didn't eat mud. And Mother Yashoda, we will read that, this will come. So yes, Mother Yashoda sees the entire universe in Krishna's mouth. And you will read in this further that how Mother Yashoda shows that he has no beginning and no end. His Mother Yashoda sees that. I think I should add this question here. Where is it going? I'm sorry, I think I should do it later. There is so much editing work remaining, so I am doing it in the middle of the class. I don't know. Okay, so let's read this Leela where. So when Krishna opened his mouth wide by the order of Mother Yashoda, she saw within his mouth all the moving and non-moving entities, outer space, and all the directions, along with mountains, islands, oceans, surface of the earth, the blowing wind, fire, the moon, the stars. She saw the planetary systems, water, light, air, sky, creation, and by transformation of Ahankara. She also saw the senses, the mind, the sense perception, and the three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance. She saw the time allotted for the living entities. She saw natural instinct and the reaction of karma. And she saw desires and different varieties of bodies, moving and non-moving. Seeing all these aspects of the cosmic manifestation, along with herself and Vrindavan Dham, she became doubtful and fearful of her son's nature. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 8th chapter, verses 37 to 39. This is Krishna. So when Mother Yashoda opened his mouth, she saw entire cosmos within the mouth of Krishna. So this is very nice. Is it not inconceivable to see that Mother Yashoda sees herself within the mouth of her son? So she saw herself along with the entire creation. She saw the entire creation, she saw the earth, she saw India, she saw Vrindavan, she saw herself looking into the mouth of Krishna, in the mouth of Krishna. She saw in the mouth of Krishna that she is looking into the mouth of Krishna. It's infinite. So where is Mother Yashoda? Is she inside the mouth of Krishna or outside the mouth of Krishna? Question. The answer is written here. She is simultaneously inside and outside of Krishna. She is simultaneously inside as well as outside of Krishna. So because Krishna is, like Krishna told in which verse we discussed yesterday, Krishna says, all beings are in me, but I am not in them. His 9th chapter, I think 3rd verse. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani nataham tesho avastita. And then he again says, Tacha matsthani bhutani pashyame yogameshwaram bhuta brinna cha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavana. So he says, see, so Krishna is, so the entire universe is existing within Krishna, but still Krishna is standing in front of Mother Yashoda inside that same universe. That is the meaning of, that is a hint, that is an example, or that is a glimpse of how Krishna, or the absolute truth, is infinite, and he has no beginning and no end. He is inside everything, yet he is not inside anything. Everything is inside him, yet everything is not inside him, right? So like the entire universe is within Krishna, but still this, you can see this grass is not within Krishna. But even if this grass is within Krishna, but you can see this is not within Krishna. So this is very inconceivable nature of Krishna. Similarly, Mother Yashoda is outside, but she is also inside. So inconceivable. Okay, this is one Leela. Another Leela in which Krishna displays the same thing. This is from again 10th canto. After Lord Krishna married the 16,000 princesses in Dwarka, sage Narada once decided to visit Dwarka and see how the Lord was maintaining all his wives. Basically, Naradaji is a great devotee and he always wants to have darshan of the Lord. So he decided, okay, let me go and see the Lord in Dwarka, because Lord is in Dwarka. So Naradaji says, okay, let me go and have darshan of Lord in Dwarka. And when he goes there to see the Lord, what does he see? To his astonishment, he saw that Lord Krishna expanded himself into 16,000 forms and entered into each of the 16,000 palaces. He was seen in each of the palace with a different engagement. This incident beautifully illustrates the wondrous opulence of Krishna that we discussed above. When Naradaji sees, he sees in some palace Krishna is playing with his kids. In some palace, Krishna is like a king and that queen is sitting next to him and he is talking to his ministers. In some other palace, he sees Krishna is doing a yajna and his wife is sitting next to him, because he has 16,000 wives. So in each palace, different wife is there. So he is doing a yajna and his wife is sitting next to him. In some other palace, he saw Krishna is in a garden enjoying the beautiful flowers there, and his wife is there and his other family members are there and they are all having a nice time in the garden. Like that, Naradaji sees in every different palace Krishna is doing different activities. That is what Naradaji sees. That is what he was seeing in each of the palace with a different engagement. This shows that Krishna is infinite. Simultaneously, he is in all the places and still and also engaged in different activities. Not that just like somebody can say air is everywhere. but still air here or air there is no different, right? In the sense that in terms of activities also, it is doing same activity. But Krishna is doing different activities, and even when he is in different places. This is very amazing. Okay, finally, the conclusion. This human life is very precious. The beauty of this human life is that only in the body of a human can we understand God. So now, no armchair philosophy. This is a practical philosophy. As soon as we hear about Krishna's potency or Krishna's infinite nature, immediately I get onto my toes that okay, what I can do now? Well, how can this information improve my life? So that is what the conclusion is discussing. Animals do not discuss the subject matter of God. Lord Krishna is that absolute truth which includes every possible concept of God. Let's use this human life to understand this Krishna concept of infinity. So this is what humans can do, animals cannot do. Like you saw how in the beginning of this chapter we discussed about David Deutsch, Sir David Deutsch, who says that there's a difference between a stone and animals, a stone and living beings. And then even if you go further, you will see there is a difference between animals and human beings. Even amongst the living beings, there is a difference. Animals and human beings are different. So humans do physics, animals don't do physics. And now the purpose of human life, why humans are bestowed with this extra intelligence, why are they bestowed with this tendency to ask questions? So to understand the absolute truth. And that absolute truth is being presented here in the form of Krishna concept of infinity. So we should do that. And this is not something new. This is not something new path invented by some recent people. This is a very time-tested, age-old path which has been tested by so many wonderful saints. Seers have described him in thousands of ways as if having thousands of mouths. So Krishna is so infinite that any aspect of his infiniteness, and you try to describe, that gives you so much of pleasure. You want to keep on describing and from that same aspect from different angles, but it's never exhausted. It is never over, right? And the more you describe, the more pleasure you get. For example, if somebody asks me, can you teach machine learning? Okay, I can teach. I will teach, let's say, linear classifier. One day I will teach. Next day students will come, oh, I have doubts in linear classifier. Can you teach again? Okay, I will teach. With little less interest, but I will teach. Then again next day somebody says, no, linear classifier only. And tell it in some different way, tell it in some more details. Okay, I can do it. For how many days? 3-4 days at most. And then I will say, okay, let's move on to the next topic. It's over. Linear classifier over. I have no more interest in discussing linear classifier. It's kind of exhausted. It's a material thing, exhausted. But Krishna is never exhausted. So, and also my interest in describing Krishna will never exhaust. Like even if I start describing one small aspect of Krishna, even that is so. So it can give so much of bliss that we can keep describing that small one concept, and it will never be over. I will never feel tired. I will never feel bored, or I will never feel exhausted. Okay, it's done. Now let's move on to some other topics. No, it will never happen, because that is the nature of, that is the spiritual nature. It's so infinite that it is also the source of infinite pleasure, which linear classifiers cannot give. Okay, okay, seers have done it. They derive so much of pleasure, but it requires the grace of Krishna to appreciate him, and in the process our consciousness transcends from imperfection to perfection. So when we describe Krishna, so first of all, like if you ask somebody who is not very much in love with Krishna, or who does not understand Krishna very well. You ask, let's say, any ordinary Indian, you ask them, can you tell about Krishna? You say, yes, Krishna is our God, and he has his place in Vrindavan, and it's a very nice place, you must go there, nice temples there. He can explain for some time, and then he will say, what more? He said, yeah, what more? That's it. That's it. That's all about Krishna. And so because he has not received that grace of Krishna to be able to appreciate his real beauty, to be able to appreciate his real infinite depth, or infinite depth of every aspect of Krishna. So that requires the grace of Krishna even to appreciate him. What to speak of knowing him in great detail. Right? And in the process, our consciousness transcends from imperfection to perfection. Okay. Now I am so imperfect. I don't have the grace to be able to appreciate Krishna very well. So what should I do? Right? I can ask, okay, people they are there who are not at all interested in Krishna. They are living like animals. So that is fine. And there are great seers of truth who know Krishna perfectly. They have received the grace of Krishna to appreciate Krishna and derive all bliss. So they are very happy. And now what about me? I am in the middle. I am just hanging in the middle. What should I do? So for me, the process is, like we also have been discussing, Tesham Nitya Abhiyuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mamu Payantite. That we describe Krishna, or we associate with Krishna, we associate with this description. Like, I do not know what is Krishna, but by reading this book, I am learning who is Krishna. I am associating with Krishna by reading this book. So do that. And when I do this, in this process, in the process of doing this course on Learn Gita, Live Gita, so my consciousness transcends from imperfection to perfection. So I will slowly move from middle to that higher platform where I can appreciate Krishna and also derive bliss in being with Krishna, in doing Krishna Katha. Right now I don't have any taste, but or I may have very little taste. Means I can read it for, let's say, half an hour. After that I'll be too tired. Oh, give me something else. Let me do some other thing. But the more I do it, the more this amount of bliss I can extract from this will keep increasing. So in that transcendental consciousness, that infinity, Krishna reveals himself with all his grandeur as well as compassion. So when we keep on doing this, Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Nitya Abhiyuktanam, when we keep doing this, then what happens? We keep transcending, and when we reach that transcendental consciousness, then Krishna reveals himself with all his grandeur and as well as compassion. Why compassion? Because Krishna sees that we really need his help. Like we discussed yesterday, that Krishna experiences what pain we are experiencing. So he is very compassionate. He immediately makes arrangements to bring us out from that precarious condition to high consciousness, where we can appreciate him and derive bliss by explaining him. Such revelations have been made by various saints from various traditions like Suradas, Meera, Purandara, Tyagaraja, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Dev, and many others. These descriptions are like sand particles in the sand bank, along with the sea beach kept for the benefit of all the jivas who inhabit the world. So Krishna's descriptions are like, so actually Krishna is like the ocean. I mean, the analogy given, like ocean is finite, but still in our perception, that is the largest body I have seen, right? I have not seen anything as huge, as vast as ocean. If you happen to visit Jagannath Puri sometime, or some other place where there is ocean, you will see just half of your vision is just covered by ocean. You're just looking into it, like ocean and sky. That is it. You see this direction, ocean, this direction, ocean, everywhere ocean, and you'll be really overwhelmed. Oh, so much water, and you feel afraid that if this water shakes a little bit and there is a slight wave, I will be completely devastated. There is a tsunami, right? It's like a river. The river has got, if river gets um, uh, disturbed, then that water can not do much harm, right? Because river is small. But if ocean, see the magnitude. If you compare the depth, even if 1% change in the height of, if 1% change in the surface level, it will completely submerge the cities, right? It is so huge, and it's really frightening as well. I was this year, no, not this year. Last year in May, I was in UK. I was staying in Brighton. Brighton is on the sea coast, and my guest room was directly facing the ocean. So I will get up in the morning, early in the morning, and I will see huge ocean in front of me. And then I will go in the night to sleep, and I will see the huge ocean, all dark, and then I will go to sleep. And in the daytime, I'll be in conference, but also I'll visit the room sometime for eating or something. And then I'll again see huge ocean. It was actually very frightening also, because my room was in such a position that the window opens right to the ocean, and the only thing I saw outside the window was the ocean and the sky, nothing else, because it was right on the sea bank, the sea beach. So the only thing I saw was ocean and the sky. It was very frightening, but it was interesting. So it's so huge. That is why, that's what is being said here, that Krishna is like ocean, really huge. And these descriptions about Krishna, they are like sand particles on the sandbank. Like on the beach there are sand particles. So these, whatever nicely we can describe Krishna, but still we cannot explain Krishna even in the slightest measurable way, in slightest tangible way. Not tangible. What will you call? It means you can't say that this is 1% of Krishna. If I ask you, okay, so whatever we have discussed until now, how much percentage of Krishna does that describe? Any estimate? So we have been discussing about Learn Gita, Live Gita. We have been discussing about Krishna. If somebody asks, how much percentage of Krishna have you seen in this book or in these 2 chapters? How much percentage? A seed in a mustard bag. That's an overestimation. That's an overestimation. Yeah, 0. So you can say 0.0000000000000, and wherever you put 1, that was the error. That was the error in your measurement. So this is so that is the meaning of infiniteness. As I can ask you, if I give you a number line, and I give you 5 numbers, how much percentage, how much fraction of the number line have I given you? You will say 0. Okay, I give you the number line, all the reals, and out of that I will extract all the even numbers and I give to you. What is the fraction of total real set have I given you? You will say 0, right? So that is the idea. That is the idea. Infinity, whatever we describe about Krishna, it is still very, very tiny. But still, for me, it is huge, right? Because it is so much of source of pleasure. The thing is that the more I describe Krishna, the more and more pleasure I derive. And this is an unending pleasure, because the ocean is in front of me. Take as much as you want. No end, unending ocean. As Lord Brahma prays in Srimad Bhagavatam, in time, learned philosophers or scientists might be able to count all the atoms of the earth, the particles of snow, or perhaps even the shining molecules radiating from the sun, the stars, and other luminaries. But amongst these learned men, who could possibly count the unlimited transcendental qualities possessed by you, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Person, who have descended unto the surface of the earth for the benefit of all living entities? This is Brahmaji's prayer to Krishna in Bhagavatam, that, okay, even if scientists can count number of atoms in earth, or number of particles in snow, or even volume of the ocean, but still who can describe your transcendental qualities? Because they are so infinite. Lord Brahma is the great authority, and he is accepting the Krishna concept of infinity as the absolute truth. Such truth cannot be ascertained by using finite logic. In this lesson we learned the ineffectiveness of arithmetic laws on the infinite as against on the finite domain, illustrated by the great mathematician George Cantor. As in the words of Lord Brahma, Krishna concept of infinity overwhelms a person who is a seeker of truth. Not only infiniteness of Krishna is inconceivable as observed by Lord Brahma and Arjuna, his creation also manifests this inconceivability and indescribability. So, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam. Even this world is so infinite. We discussed some examples. Can you give an example to show how this world is infinite? Can you give an example to show how this world is infinite? Give some examples to show how this world is infinite. Yes, a cell can never be perfectly described. Even an atom cannot be perfectly described. That's why I had hidden this. An atom has not yet been properly described. A biological cell has also not been properly described. So also the cosmos. So also the consciousness. The more one tries to understand, the more it becomes elusive. God, Lord Krishna, pervades through his creation. Thus every aspect of creation will remain elusive in spite of our best efforts. His footprints are imprinted in every aspect of his creation. And what are the footprints? Infiniteness, inconceivability, indescribability. More magnification gives new understanding. Yeah. Yes. Very good. Abhishek Prabhu, can you do one thing? Like when we are discussing these chapters, we are asking many questions. So if you can compile these questions and send me, I will put these questions in these chapters because this book will be published. So these questions have to be there. So sir has asked us to put these questions. So I will put these questions there. So can you, like all the questions which we have been discussing, make a Word file or Google Doc and share with me and keep adding there, and I will keep extracting from this side, right? So just make a Google Doc or Microsoft Doc, whatever you want, and keep putting all the questions there. Share it with me. I will extract all questions and put them here. Okay. Only those who are freed from the curtain of his illusory energy can perceive that Lord Krishna is indeed the ultimate form of infinity. Very important. What can I do? Krishna is so infinite. How do I understand him? Krishna is so beautiful. Krishna is so full of nectar. But how do I experience that? How do I enjoy that nectar? So the answer is just purify yourself. Clear out all the dust and the world is yours. Means the beautiful world of Krishna is open for you. Just purify yourself. You already have a relationship with Krishna. Just because the dirt is there, remove that dirt and you are good to go. So this is what is being described here, that one who is freed from the curtain of his illusory energy, the dirty things which are covering us. The dirt is infinite. Yes, very good point. Dirt also appears to be infinite. But this infinity is smaller than that infinity. Krishna's magnanimity is higher level of infinity, right? So it can clear away all the dirt. So Krishna's, there is a very nice poem by Rupa Goswami. Okay, it goes like this. Bhaktirudan chati yadyapi madhava namama tvai tilamatri parameshwarata tadapi tavadhika durghata ghatana vidhatri Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. This is Bhakti Rudanchati Yadyapi Madhava Na Mama Tvai Tilamatri. So it says, so Rupa Goswami is praying to Krishna that my bhakti or my devotion for you is so tiny that, and the dirt is infinite, and my devotion or my sincerity is so tiny. But Parameshwarta Tadapi Tavadhika. Parameshwarta means your magnanimity or your supremacy is so infinite that Durghata Ghatana Vidhatri. Even this impossible task of removing this infinite dirt is very minuscule for you. You can do it like that. This is a song by Rupa Goswami. Very nice song. Hare Krishna. So then there is a story. I would ask you to read this story on your own, because I think we have discussed this story in the past. But you can do it. You can read this story on your own. And then there are questions which you can go through, and now you are good to go for the test. Maybe on Saturday or Sunday, whenever you want, you can go to Learn Gita, Live Gita test portal and give the test. Or take the test. Anybody has any questions? Please ask questions. Akshat, I'm seeing you after a long time. Why Krishna says that he is not in us? He is not in us? Okay. Okay. So Krishna says he is not in us. So for example, this concept itself is so infinite, it can be explained in many different ways, but I am just telling one way which I appreciate. That way is, so Krishna is not in us. So do you see Krishna? People ask, right? Have you seen God? Have you seen Krishna? What do people answer? People who are either beginners in spiritual life, what they will answer? No, I have not seen Krishna. So this is the meaning. Even if Krishna is everywhere, but still we do not see him. Right? Okay, this is one understanding. Another understanding is Krishna is everywhere, but still he is not in us. Means if I am a thief, right, I can say Krishna is there in me, so Krishna is stealing. I am not stealing, Krishna is stealing. Right? In the exam I will say Krishna is there within me, I didn't copy, Krishna copied. Right? I can very easily say that Krishna is everywhere, Krishna is within me also, so I didn't copy, Krishna copied. And if I beat somebody, I didn't beat you, Krishna had beaten you. Right? That's why Krishna is saying, I am not in them. Means I am not in them means I am not responsible for their actions. Why? Because Krishna has given us a very tiny free will. We choose. We make our choice. And based on our choice, things are actuated by so many other factors like material nature, by time, by Krishna as Paramatma. Right? That is why Krishna says, I am not in them, means he is not responsible for our actions. But if you read that verse, I think 4th verse of the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you will get many nice understandings from Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Any more questions? More questions? Okay, if there are no questions, then I can ask a question. Okay. One question is, Uh, what is the difference between finite and infinite? Enumerate these differences. So this is a homework problem. Oh, I forgot to read Ajit Prabhu's answer, which he has posted on Piazza. I'm sorry, I will do that. Okay, now today's question is, what are the differences between finite and infinite? Enumerate as many as you can. And this is one question. Another question is, enumerate the pastimes where Krishna, enumerate the pastimes where Krishna displays his inconceivable infiniteness. Inconceivable infiniteness Krishna displays. Another question could be, okay, one more question from Akshat Prabhu. Krishna says that I don't interfere in working of gunas. Which verse is that? But he can help us in uplifting us in gunas. No, which verse is that where Krishna says I don't interfere in working of gunas? Which verse is this where Krishna says that I don't interfere in working of gunas? Okay. I also don't remember any verse like that. What Krishna says in this regard is Maya Dhakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam, that all the gunas are working under my direction. So Krishna is not saying he is not interfering with them. He is saying they are working under my direction. So Krishna has full control over the gunas. So definitely he can uplift us. There is a very nice song written by Prabhupada. In that song, Prabhupada writes that Tomar ichhaya sabe maya rachanna. I forgot the exact line. That Prabhupada says, Prabhupada is praying to Krishna. When Prabhupada goes to America, he sees people in Boston are so busy. They don't have time. They're just running. There are cars on the street, just running. People are running to their work. People are running to their offices, their factories, their so many other activities. They have no time to stop. But Prabhupada is praying to Krishna, oh my Lord, because of they are all under the influence of your illusory energy, and you have full control on that illusory energy. And if you want, you can also uplift them from this illusory energy. Basically, you can remove the curtain of ignorance, you can remove the curtain of illusory energy and make them your devotees. So Prabhupada is praying to Krishna in this way. So this means Krishna has full control over the three modes, the gunas, and he can definitely remove them and help us in uplifting, in transcending those gunas. Krishna can definitely do that very easily. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Mayavadi philosopher or a scholar, they don't have love towards Krishna, still they also speak about Krishna. Do they have mercy of Krishna or they have good mind, isn't it? Yeah, they don't have love towards Krishna and they speak about Krishna, but they speak mostly they don't speak about Krishna, and when they speak about Krishna, they speak about him in a very mundane way. So their basic understanding is that they are also as good as Krishna. That is what is Mayavadi. I am also as good as Krishna. What is so special about Krishna? And when they describe Krishna, they describe him with an offensive mentality that yes, see, this is what Krishna is doing, and when I will be liberated, I will also do the same thing. Like Krishna is giving the knowledge to Arjuna. He says, this is, see, Krishna is perfect Guru. He is giving knowledge to his disciple. And when I will be self-realized, I can also become a Guru and I can give knowledge to everybody. There is no difference between me giving knowledge to my disciples and Krishna giving knowledge to Arjuna. So they have, this is the offensive mentality that they have. So they don't have love towards Krishna and they don't have any mercy of Krishna. They are also under illusion. They are completely under illusion, no mercy. And they have good mind. Because of their austere lifestyle, they are in mode of goodness. So they have a good mind. Good mind means mode of goodness kind of mind. But the false ego is still covering them very nicely, and the three modes are completely overpowering them, and that is why they don't receive mercy of Krishna because of this offense. So we are discussing, sir is discussing these days about how these people can be can come out of their false ego. That can happen by the question. How can that happen? How can a person who has a lot of mode of goodness but still he has Mayavadi views about Krishna, how can he come out of that illusion? Offenseless chanting, yes, but how will offenseless chanting happen? Because he's already doing offense. Mercy and grace. Was that the answer? I thought it was yes, by mercy and grace. Basically by association of devotees, they will receive the mercy and grace of the devotees, and then they will be able to chant offenselessly. So association, mercy of pure devotees. So for example, anybody has any example to give here? A Mayavadi who is thinking that he is equal to Krishna, but he comes to, he gets away from this illusion. Anybody can give an example from Shastras? Any incident in the past where such a person is able to overcome this offensive mentality and become a nice devotee? Prakashanand Saraswati. Yes. Sir also gave this same example. Prakashanand Saraswati, how he, by the association of Mahaprabhu, by mercy and grace of Mahaprabhu, he was able to transcend over the Mayavad philosophy. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We can stop here.